Mike lived for the rush. Skydiving, bungee jumping, swimming with sharks, you name it, he'd done it. He craved the feeling of adrenaline surging through his veins, the edge of fear pushing him to the limit. So when he stumbled upon the legend of the 7 Doors ritual, his interest was piqued. This wasn't your average dare. This was the stuff of nightmares whispered in hushed tones on the darkest corners of the internet. Legend had it that 7 doors hidden in various abandoned locations held the key to another dimension, a dimension of fear. Mike, ever the skeptic, scoffed at the idea. Another dimension? Ridiculous. But the ritual itself, the steps involved, the promise of something truly terrifying. It stuck with him. He couldn't resist the allure of the unknown. He had to see for himself. The ritual was specific. 7 doors, each in a different derelict building, each door requiring a specific object placed before it. A black cat figurine, a child's doll missing an eye, a single white rose. Mike found the list unsettling yet strangely exhilarating. He decided to document his journey, a vlog for his followers, convinced it would be nothing more than an exploration of creepy abandoned buildings. He found the first door in an old dilapidated hospital on the outskirts of town. The air hung heavy with the stench of decay, the silence broken only by the sound of his own footsteps echoing through the empty corridors. The door itself was unremarkable, wooden and chipped, but as he placed the black cat figurine in front of it, a shiver ran down his spine. Just a bunch of spooky nonsense, he muttered to the camera, trying to mask the growing unease within him. He opened the door. The room beyond was not what he expected. It wasn't a hospital room, no sterile beds or medical equipment. Instead, it was a long, narrow hallway. The walls were painted a sickly yellow, the paint peeling and cracked. A single bare bulb hung from the ceiling, casting flickering shadows that danced on the walls. He stepped inside, the door clicking shut behind him. The air grew colder and a strange metallic scent filled his nostrils. He felt a presence, something watching him from the shadows. "Okay, this is getting weird," he said, his voice echoing strangely in the confined space. He walked towards the end of the hallway, each step feeling heavier than the last. At the end of the hallway, he found another door. This one was painted a cheerful pink, adorned with faded cartoon characters. It looked jarringly out of place. He pushed it open, and the stench of sour milk hit him like a physical blow. The room was a nursery filled with cribs, rocking horses, and shelves overflowing with toys. But something was wrong. The air was thick with a palpable sense of dread. The rocking horses swayed gently, despite there being no breeze. And from the corner he heard a soft, chilling giggle. "This is messed up," he whispered, his hand trembling as he reached for the doorknob. He needed to get out of there. He stumbled back through the pink door, only to find himself facing a new horror. The hallway was gone, replaced by an endless flight of stairs spiraling upwards into darkness. The single light bulb flickered and died, plunging him into absolute darkness. Panic welled up inside him, threatening to consume him. He was trapped. Taking a shaky breath, he started climbing, his hand trailing along the cold, damp wall. He climbed for what felt like hours, but the stairs went on, an impossible, never-ending ascent. The only sound was the thud of his own heartbeat in his ears. He emerged into a vast, empty space. It was like stepping into a black hole, devoid of light and sound. The air was thick and heavy, pressing down on him, suffocating him. He felt a presence here too, but this was different. It was colder, more ancient, more malevolent. Then he heard it, a whisper barely audible, slithering through the darkness. It spoke his name, his deepest fears, his darkest desires. The voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, wrapping around him like a shroud. He stumbled back, his mind reeling. This couldn't be real. It was just a hallucination, a trick of his mind, right? He didn't know how long he wandered through the void, each step an exercise in terror. But slowly a light began to flicker in the distance, a doorway, beckoning him forward. Hope surged through him, a lifeline in the suffocating darkness. As he drew closer, he saw a figure standing in the doorway. It was tall and skeletal, shrouded in shadow, its eyes burning with an unnatural light. The whispers intensified, swirling around him, urging him forward, towards the figure, towards the light. He backed away, his heart pounding in his chest. This was wrong, this was all wrong. He had to get out. He turned to run, but the void stretched out before him, endless and unforgiving. There was no escape. He was trapped, caught in a nightmare of his own making. The whispers grew louder, taunting him, mocking his fear. He fell to his knees, his body trembling, his mind on the verge of collapse. He had gone too far, pushed himself beyond the limits of sanity. This was the price of his thrill-seeking, the ultimate test of his courage, and he was failing. The figure in the doorway stepped forward, its shadow stretching towards him, long and menacing. He squeezed his eyes shut, waiting for the inevitable. He woke up on the cold, concrete floor of the abandoned hospital, his body racked with tremors, his mind a jumbled mess of fear and confusion. It had been a dream. It had to be. He stumbled out of the building into the blinding sunlight, desperate to escape the horrors he had witnessed. Back in his apartment, he reviewed the footage from his camera. The first few doors, the hallway, the nursery, it was all there, just as he remembered it. But as he watched the footage of himself entering the void, his blood ran cold. The camera shook violently, the image distorted and unclear. But in the background, just for a fleeting moment, he saw it. The shadowy figure, its eyes burning bright, staring directly at the camera. It wasn't a dream, it was real.